Hello, hello. Welcome to this time space where we're moving and sharing. We're all sharing. We're all sharing in this first generation of so many windows where we get to share from. The word of the week is transformation. Um, that which is the cover is for the third week of the month. Next week, the word is reflection. And for the word of transition, that's between weeks, is connection. The days between months that are between weeks or the last days, or sometimes it's nearly a week. It's only one day for the connection. I want to share what it means when you're talking about this scenario and you have a scenario that's respectful in order to reflect. You can still reflect. I have been in places where there was violence and I was still present and happy inside, thinking, oh my God, this is happening around me. Um, how peculiar. So the scenario can also affect you. Um, when one is not reflecting as a mirror or observer, one gets attached to the polarity of certain emotions or in response. So I want to explain how it works in the time square with the vibration, the inside, the cover, the scenario, environment, the transition. As we're moving to higher and higher trainings of interacting with each other within the real world of internet, the values we are here to share on a faster mode. This has been programmed because it's the only way that it can work. So my conversation to those who have more power can accept this new system for the people, influencers, to travel and share a new program where people can pick their own design to create a mansion into a village. Of course, for many will say, yeah, virtual reality, that's cool. Because it's not so cool to talk about making a better world in places that maybe are abandoned or are in need of taking some care. So this is my conversation to influencers and people who like to be part of this next evolutionary step. And for the younger generation of the elite or who are more in touch with our generation and our needs, because we don't need the middle class to die and she's very rich and more slavery, even though people have education. We have a lot of empty seats and places where we can rotate this transformation. So transformation is exchange as well, and it's money. We're still on the day of the week. That's for the word of transformation and metamorphosis, where the spiritual values are printed by the artists and the architects and the writers and the scribes who pass the word, especially the Christians who went beyond themselves for others. We also have stronger beliefs within the Christian church, as many religions have different schools. Transformation can be made out of horse, with a cause and effect to create a greater good for the world. So it means as well for people who are in the Arab country or the Persian, Russians and Ukrainians, what binds them apart? It takes a lot of work to enter in this design of caring for your people. There is nothing to be said when people have already played their cards. They're already destined to follow their. They have invested in war, so they have war. We invest in creativity, so we have creativity. Some are absolutely genius and mastercrafts because they have immersed totally in it and only. Everything else becomes a distraction. And we still reflect from that which is around us in this contemporary moment. We are. Reflect is the word for the next week. That's in the environment. It's not connection for the next week because there's no connection if we do not reflect. We'll miss the point. Why we're connecting or why. It's better to reflect every day for 1 week, even if we have 1 day of connecting, because that would be the change we're looking for. But if we have connecting with our reflection, just 1 day for reflection, we will miss what is this connection about. It would be a fight, a war. Without reflection, it will be defeat and resistance. And that is what matters most, to be attuned with the present. As impossible as it might seem, But we are all part of the same legs and arms, a worldwide scenario in our culture as well, our family, our neighborhood. So we like to reflect and also be part. And for those who can't, they simply can't. But we still reflect. That is part of the connection. You don't need a higher message. It's a physical message or any download. It will be free and cheap if you think that is supernatural and outrageous. You will look for prophets, messiahs, high priestess, a message from God, a guideline, a make believe story to engulf others. And yet you're losing the essential. You're reflecting without connection. The connection that is there is superficial. It's generated, it's programmed, and it's vague, it's far away. It doesn't have a genuine heart of human to human. Where we come from. Technologies are amazing, yes. You might ask, having all the knowledge and university degrees, or you might compare and ask so many things. Why? It is so vague. Why am I here? Why am I still listening? Why is this world still working like that? You might have your own sense of direction. What is it that you can do? We are all dependable of others as well, on a human scale. It seems the need to end the war is to continue the war. It is an immortal task to help these religious wars to understand that the past does not need to repeat. You are unique, and God loves you. I love you. When you hear these words, you might resonate with all the fears of when mother wasn't there or the teachers didn't treat you as you would deserve. Maybe your special attention was not good enough. what was given from love that is free. And then you start to see the needs of the adults and how the world works based on needs, what people get from loving their job, loving their coworkers, loving their allies. And what happens when you change? Love your enemy, love the unknown. You know, the death only wishes death, but does not understand the living. And there are many people who live with the beliefs of death. There is no life believing that death is going to save you and your people, that you're going to be free and happy if the other ones die. Because of the sorrows of the past. I know of sorrow very well. We want to see from the spirit that we have. While we are alive, what brings us to life? We might be very spiritual and disattached from the reasons to be alive. We might be very spiritual and be disattached for the reasons that brings us alive. And that is transformation, is to create a new life. Transformation is to rebirth. And we know all these reasons. What we need is to walk through life knowing that something unknown is there that is loving us as well. I am not here to support you so you continue the war, because you might die. I'm not here to cheer you up for that. You will be remembered for all your sins. Doesn't matter what you do. A world without love cannot be dominated. Leaders are going to be chosen for their capacity to love and care wisely different cultures, political beliefs. We have leaders from political systems that have problems and don't care of the consequences that might happen by their choices. We have fanatics and lunatics in power. And who is the strongest in their belief will take over. So transformation comes in many ways, of course. And we might resist. Change happens sometimes throughout an intervention. You can't. The abuser will continue until the end to abuse. Always remember that. The thief will always make stories to steal. He will believe he has a reason to do that. And the love of many families and children and mothers or their husbands are living in joys and having understanding of the values that keeps us alive is a different form of higher consciousness. You must have been a devotee for many lives to your people, to other people. Christians have been devoted to other people, to bring them goods, to bring them betterment, to bring them transformations, a better shelter, a better road, better hospitals, whatever this world had to bring to strangers that could kill you or hate you or reject you. Christians have learned to respect other cultures in the way, and there were still fanatics here and there. There still are. Without a heart, because the heart already has a weight, and you've been covered and formed through this heavy weight that's not very light and lovingly to accept the joy and growth of another person with their own timing. We still need this world to understand that it's one world. So I thank those who are trying to push in a faster way, even though it creates more pain. Transformation occurs in the interaction, having the resources. It does create a lot of conflict to have a country fighting against evolution. It does create a lot of friction to have a few countries trying to bring chaos to what is mapping the world into a higher consciousness for each individual. It does bring a lot of difficulty to bring credit and trust in places in this world where they need that support, where people can do it with the right technologies and designs. So people pick their design. And you will say, yes, we can do this. Of course, we can do this. Of course, it is dangerous. countries that hate us would have our technologies. They can use it against us. And then, what is this consciousness about then? You can help bring in the world map for them to see with their own eyes and with their own consciousness and just be present. Well, everyone sees with the same eyes. Where is food needed? Where people would like to create textiles, which industries they would like to do. You will see it thanks to the people and influencers who have gone to these places to create this totally new system and design to achieve their goals in a most rapid form. There's not really need for everyone to study finance in college. It would have been a torture for me to study mathematics. In some countries, it's been placed by law to study finance. We can understand in better terms how it can multiply. It will compute itself when we bring the information, the data. To see traveling, to see the forms of traveling, how we connect and express ourselves. It's very beautiful. It's living in poetry. It's living with a higher class of experiencing one another through the talent we have. So we'd rather just enjoy ourselves and start moving on. So moving more on is just a state of choice and having 100% totality. The only way it can work. It has always worked when it's compact and together, wholly, wally, and total. So we will give it a few years, 3 or 5, and we're going to work with our own. As other continents create their memory system, and if possible, their internet. It doesn't cost too much to make your own cables. It's a great investment because only because of that they can take over your country. You are dependent to technologies, but at the same time you can become one with these technologies and have a sight for the universal, which does exist. And transforming is change. Say no to something and yes to this inner revolution that is changing. You see, many people resist death. In general, people don't want to die. They resist. And some have the time to prepare for death as the final orgasm. Be aware of that important moment with peacefulness, with a healthy environment, the whole body, uncover the case slowly, and inside there are only blessings and gratefulness to be alive, as to welcome death, as the body is leaving behind its strength and values, which it used to relate with, to have more energy, to do more. Another form takes over as the other form is going away. Your children become older. They think of you as a person that will never die if you raise them well with spiritual gatherings, with love, with celebration for life, loving other people around you, to love other cultures, to accept the differences. There are differences. There is something that is so beautiful in the world of freedom because we can gather together and dance. We can speak the same language. We can feel other potentials. We are all longing to be together as one. And in that oneness, we exist. So we're not going to leave anyone behind. Okay? It's sometimes like talking to children. Yeah, you will grow out of this. You are not much of a leader. When you see the divinity that you can withhold between God and humanity, to please God, to please humanity. All your words have been a waste. It's useless. The more you try, we're going to see how people are controlling their own countries in the technological world atlas, where each one has their map, an entity, business, natures, and their peoples show reality and desires for what they want. The anger of the people will always be there against leaders unless they have the freedom to respect their inner authority. So if they think that leaders are going to do everything for them, they are always going to be criticizing leaders. Places where people are happy because they have their freedom of creation, and options. They know very well what to do, to care, and work for, and invest. Even if it's different or might take a risk, lose it all. Die with dignity, because this is in a country of freedom, free will, and determination. You cannot ask for people to give you the right of free determination because you don't have it with your people. It does not resonate with the evolution of the world. All the world wants to advance. The world wants to be happy without this news. You're not only hurting your people, you're also hurting the world who's watching this news. And also stopping the progress so we all move together as one. You have the right to take care of your land, your people, but you cannot become a sickness to the world and your own people and yourself. It's the nature to take care. You will have to cut a leg if you want to live longer. Something bad has happened. No, you are transformed. You might have an electronic leg. Something has gone. Something new might come. We will all go one day, and new generations as well will come. And this is our creation right now. We are in the climax of our life. Now we only have a few years left. We're not going to spend decades so you evolve. I'm talking in general to Israel as well, to Persia. Needs a lot of therapy. And the Muslim world that still feels wounded from thousands of years of war before Muhammad was born. Muhammad was born and raised with these beliefs. He didn't create them. And each prophet brings their best for their people. Is the trend to help bring harmony in their own culture, for their own, in their own words. Now, you must see how you pick these words and affect in your reality, your tissue of reality, how it's moving. You have a vibe, you enter into a scenario, you're going out from a scenario. Each scenario is a chapter in a book. Each scenario has a transition in a movie script towards another scenario. And each story has an end in history. It's been remembered for that end. So we're fighting for an end. We're not creating the scenario. We're not coming with a vibe from one scenario to another. So the sequence of a story is lost from generation to generation because the essence of your people and you is partly dead already, generating children and families and buildings. But if you measure the joy, the capacity to respect one another, does not exist. It's just to keep a body alive that's nearly dead. You don't listen to each other very much because you've not been listened. You only share the old texts. You don't exist, really. You don't know who you are. You don't know what is to know the self or find forgiveness, gratefulness. If you had gratefulness, you bring better options for your people, not just to survive and keep alive. We have problems in our countries to take care as well, equally, have more or less the same problems. But there are countries that will never generate war, will never invest in war, and are never being spoken of the reasons to keep war. Our grandparents did that, our grandparents had to go through that. But they were not trained for war. And there is envy, because others have more. They have more beautiful society. So this revengeful, conscious hope is cannot transform by killing others. It's not going to be fulfilled. You can enjoy it in virtual reality as a form of poetry and a joke. Don't ask me to bring jokes because you've taken years from my life where I should be with my children right now and be paid. So it's not funny. I'm not here to please anyone, so they pay my work. And this conversation for world peace is a prayer. This is not a form of work. But my virtual reality formula was sent as a form of work for me and my people. My right, right? You don't have to be pleased. I don't have to be nice to you, like your wife or prostitutes, to pretend to like you and make you feel worthy of paying me. because your mother was there, love you for free. Yes, you grew up to see all the needs she had while having you, or interests. But then it's interests, not love. A woman cannot love so much so far. I have responsibilities. I cannot be joking here. So you have entertainment, or you laugh about a clown or a crazy person. That was part of a character. You're not going to copy our stories either, or how we do it for virtual reality, right? There's value in how we relate. So we see you like it. This works. It has proof a lot of work. There's mathematical and sociological and systematic. And people have the ability to do it right now with the technologies we have. So yes, we can see all the money. So there's no corruption anymore in the hands of the leaders of their own nation. This is up to the leaders of the world. Who is behind the leaders of the world? Do they really care about the people? Or is just an act to cover oneself? Many are catalysts to sales market, a reason to be better by bringing good. The whole system of wars to be protected is going to end very soon. We don't have wars. It's very easy to create wars. That's what the devil does. He wants you to fail and learn who is the greatest evil. He will play with your demons so they come out. The people of God know what is transformation towards. What is better for you, the people next to you, your family. God could guide you as I can guide you. You would trust more in a stranger than in yourself to bring goodness to the people. So what happens when we're moving on? What happens when we're moving on? We have all this space to create. Yeah. We cannot be creating with a screen. Some of us are not here for that. Make an appearance shows just talking what people talk. Is to far away from our being. Loyalty is very beautiful when it's shared, and there are mistakes in the free world because we explore, but we don't see it as a punishment or something bad that needs to be killed and finished. We have much room to love and regenerate and create even greater gardens, which is love to do. That's what you do when your mind is in an eternal paradise and can see through. You won't disassociate from the truth. You will not try to mislead the people because you can see through. You can see how long it takes for them to grow and become responsible of their own. You can see it through how many generations they need if they continue in this way. You can see how clear it is to see it when you're in connection with this divine transformation within this frame of reality in the movement we exist in this time. Why it's so important to be alive, to die, to give room for others to move on. This is an eternal consciousness we are forming. Why we come here, what's rightful. There is a plan. We have an orientation, each one of us, for a body. The world itself is a body of God in this beautiful universe. We're so little to see it. We need an example that's not so great because it does not fit in our imagination to understand how much we need each other to see this world, the needs in general that can happen systematically. At the same time, and this is the most important task of this millennium, it's been a work of many, many, many millenniums. I want you to feel as responsible for it. I can see where it goes back to the same because it's what's known is relatable, what you know. You feel secure. There's no need to have everyone waiting, so you make peace. There's no one above controlling to direct a war. The whole world wants peace, so we can take care of the people in need. And we also have needs I have needs. So when you don't do anything, because you never had that relation, it has been pseudo freedom, pseudo love, pseudo spirituality. It's been superficial. You still hold on to it. When you're full, you know you always have to give. It's eternal through you. It's guaranteed. You don't need to hold on to the misery of others to fight. It's good to have a confrontation. It makes a rich conversation on role playing virtual reality. You have laughter and jokes and dramas. But as we move into the near science fiction, we will see in the technologies how it works by itself, the goods, and we will be able to take care better for the planet and transport ourselves to outer space. We also have new frontiers to move faster with less material to innovate, to discover. So it's all a work of regulation right now we have. And if you want me to make jokes, just make sure that I am safe and my children, and I will be able to make jokes about everyone, make everyone happy. Yeah, luxurious because they have a high class jokester. Yeah, with so much education, being raised as a princess to be a queen. Yeah, with the most educated people of this world, just to make you feel superior. Why don't you go and take some drugs, man? Like, this is not working. A joke is not going to replace the misery that you bring to my life and others. We can see through you people that are higher and people that just follow trends. Like they know it's superficial and click on it because people are hollow right now. I have joy through remembering my life of celebration and so much love and abundance and unconditional love. My mother still radiates in my face with her face. All the joys I had and spiritual joy, the joys of the people here every day, the gratefulness to be part of this world. That there is joy for everyone, for me as well. If you want to make a joke, you make a joke. I am so wounded inside. The being grateful is just a memory from the trees that bloom again, from the nature that blooms in spring again, from the people that made those gardens in here, in my house as well, in the roads everywhere I go. The memory is impregnated and it's in its nature. So there's nothing for me to do and enjoy this beauty. It transforms. These flowers will die and winter will come another season as it's going. But there is something I would always wish for my children and their children. That is to be free and keep their sense of property, keep their ambitions, to harness good. It's the best a human being can aspire. Good is relational. You might think it's through the arts. The arts are just instruments. They're portals. There is wealth in the spiritual and in the material. To deny the material is to reject God's creation. And I want you to look at your enemies like your friends because they can stop this right now as well. We can all learn. You can make your speech always better with your people. By the count of three, you can talk about it. Do it. You might think that we have won because we are in this part of the world. The world keeps moving around. And we can also move around. And it's going to be fine when we know that this life has something that cannot be taken away. Unless a lunatic brings death. Two lunatics with many more lunatics. All right? Your compromise to support, and there is no salvation from it until then. You have to listen to how boring it is. You want people to be entertained while you suck the existence out of them. They just look at you The internet has become a very selfish phenomena for those who have more power. We wouldn't have these wars if there was no internet. But they want to be seen. They know that if they make peace, the show would stop. So be aware of the people you're supporting. Why is the reasons to fight? The compassion is sometimes a very hard decision. It is cruel. It's very cruel to have so much compassion because you know deep down it's not the only way. Because all the ways that have been existing before are part of the same nature. And the body and the system learn when something changes, stops doing it for many generations. And the pain is immortal. So it's hurting. And this pain is a killer. Or it kills itself or it kills others. The transformation is painful. It's like when the spirits of hell come out in mythology. Hell will be forgiven by those they have hurt. They don't come out of hell to make a war or attack others. They come out of hell so they remember the pain and the reason they were being put in hell and living in hell. In hell is a place of ignorance, ignoring the reasons that make your life a hell. And you might think you're working with the darkness. You might think it brings good reason, and it's not funny. It can only be liberated through compassion that is has transformed, and it's a great relief. Because that is the only way. And if you are the leader, because these are not the leaders of the past we're talking with, all right? That honors the people and the spaces for creation. If you want a comedian, go and pay a comedian. I've been here years talking for peace, to be paid for my formula for virtual reality, where I can show the whole formula so it works. It will help mediators to transfer money and transfer money and play better for the sake of playing, not because they want to play other people. It's because they are playing in a joyful state of eternity. They can see through without wanting anything from you. Just the player itself for you to play. Okay? So we can joke endlessly, transforming jokes to jokes, to a never ending last joke. Okay? That's in others' consciousness to see. So I know you mean well by wishing jokes, and we can get there. We need the environment as well to stop being hurting. So we are elevated together. There's no human can be elevated, really. It will be a fake belief, make believe, to feel humanity together, being elevating, with no one left behind. It's our collective consciousness as well as when we are all one. You can feel that when you're dancing and praying, when you see that we can all regulate ourselves to have less weapons because we are behaving better. Okay? You know what happens in your house. The same way can happen in your nation. With respect to neighbor countries. Please. It is within your power to be and let others be. Bye. Consider this. I will say thank you at the same time. Yes. Peace. Bye.